darling Fumi Nation, how are you? How are we? My name is Fumi Desalu-Vold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you are so very welcome indeed, my darlings. Needless to say, yesterday was a very good day. Needless to say, it was a very good day for Justin. I want you to hashtag him too. That's what I've coined it from the very beginning, the him too movement. Needless to say, Brian Friedman, his lawyer, and he was the only lawyer that showed up yesterday that spoke to the press. Our plantation princess's representation was also there, but they did not speak to the press. Before we get to what Brian Friedman said, let me read this for you. Okay, and it says, exclusive, tempers flare as Blake Lively's lawyers reject idea that she's purposely delaying the case while Justin Baldwin's lawyer pleads for a swift resolution. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's lawyer tempers were rising in court Monday as both sides raised new allegations in their hotly contested case. Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, pleaded with the judge, that is Judge Lyman, to move the case forward as quickly as possible because his client was suffering greatly. They had set the date for March of next year. A whole year, no, a year and 2 months. That's just a little too long. But Lively's lawyers, Michael Gottlieb, vehemently denied the claim that Lively was purposely dragging her heels in the lawsuit. Judge Louis Lyman denied a move for Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, I love this part, to gag Team Baldoni following the series of bombshell claims made by his legal team. But Gottlieb said they intended to hit Baldoni with fresh allegations in Lively's sexual harassment case and insisted that protecting the couple's celebrity friends were going to be very important. Gottlieb told the court during the hearing that they intended to add both claims and parties to a revised complaint which will be filed by Valentine's Day. The move came after Baldoni updated his own complaint in his $400 million defamation case against Plantation Princess, which accused Lively of giving the New York Times advance access to her complaint of harassment during the filing of the movie It Ends With Us. And it's going to end with you, Blake. We're going to get there in a minute. Gottlieb attacked Friedman for making statements outside of court which had challenged the character integrity and truthfulness of Lively. After complaining, Lively's lawyers were told was that Lively started it with the New York Times. Gottlieb said lawyers were not supposed to launch attacks on another party's character. My God. He added that the leaking of raw footage from It Ends With Us was particularly concerning because it could start an arms race whereby lawyers have to appear in the media to fire back at every disclosure. If there's no guardrails in place, we, the attorneys, have to go out on shows, arguing on shows what a particular document or video means. Friedman fired back that the statements had not been a one-way street. The judge said that he was adopting rules for lawyers known as Rule 3.6, which bars both of them from making extrajudicial statements that could influence the jury. Judge Lyman also warned that if both sides did not behave themselves, he could move the date of the trial from March of next year. I do hope that they move this trial forward.
Respect Judge Lyman, and we're really looking forward to moving the case along as quickly as possible. Our clients are devastated and want to move the case along as quickly as possible, and we just couldn't be more pleased with how the case was handled today, how it was managed, and we're going to move as quickly as we possibly can and prove our innocence in a world where sometimes people judge you before they give you a chance, and we're going to change that. Thank you.
I am so happy about the gag order. I am so happy about the gag order. I learned something the other day, and I'm going to repeat it for you before I start, okay? It is called DARVO. A DAVO attack is a manipulative tactic used by people who have committed a wrongdoing to avoid taking responsibility. It's called DAVO. It is an acronym for deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. That is exactly what Blake Lively and her hubby did. And they are so concerned about their precious little celebrity friends. I tell you this, their celebrity friends are going to leave them. Their celebrity friends are saying, you know what, I was no part of this. They have done this before. Allegedly, all over allegedly. I am saying allegedly that Ryan and Blake have done this before. There are other celebrities that have done this before. They are allegedly also a bunch of thieves. That's what they are. And they are not only career killers, they will delete you. That's how I look at this. They will delete you. Forget for 1 minute, because I saw this in the comments and I said you are absolutely right. They were prepared to take away from him what was his. That, my darling, is theft right there. They were prepared to destroy his career. They were also prepared to destroy him in a community of which he lived. I saw in the comments and it brought me to tears. They did not think for once about his wife and about his children. If she was not, well, you know, I've told you about Scandinavia because the wife, I think, is Danish. Beautiful, beautiful as far as I'm concerned. The most beautiful. He could have lost his wife. You can imagine the children that go to school. Blake and Ryan never thought about that, and yet they've got 4 children of their own. She is allegedly, she is as guilty as sin. I live for Brian Friedman. He is the most fabulous human being as far as I'm concerned, because when they uploaded the website before the court date, it was nothing short of checkmate. It was nothing short of the most fabulous game of chess I have ever seen in my life. Why? Because it's already out there. They used all of their resources, of which they've had repeatedly from their public relation agencies, that enabled all of this. And so what did they do? They went to New York Times, and that was the first. You drew first blood. My beautiful, my gorgeous, fabulous plantation princess. You already know how I feel about that. That's why I'm going to repeat it, because this truly is you. And so when Brian Friedman went to court, he was on time. He was prepared to speak to the press. As I was saying, he's confident. He's very happy about how everything has turned out, because Judge Lyman is trying to be very calm. He wants to be neutral, and every once in a while when you get these kind of celebrity cases, it can feel flippant in the eyes of so many things that are going on in the world. But they legit tried, allegedly, to destroy an entire human being, to destroy his family, to destroy the future of his children. I will never be able to rest with that. Because why? Because for years they've been enablers in a city that has allowed this. That is why, really and truly, Hollywood has to go up in flames. No pun intended. I'm not talking about the fires. It has to go up in flames because Sony, allegedly, you also complied to Blake Lively. Why? She spent over $600,000 in wardrobe, and it was still a hot smoking mess. You did not even want Justin to have directorial credit.
Justin Baldoni is bringing Taylor Swift back into the narrative amid his legal battle with Blake Lively. In court documents filed on January 31st and published online by Baldoni, the It Ends With Us director accuses Lively of leveraging her close friendship with the singer throughout the making of their film, including making a, quote, veiled threat through a studio executive, implying she might change her mind about reaching out to Taylor Swift to secure the use of My Tears Ricochet for the trailer if her demands are not met. Some of Lively's alleged demands in court documents included having Baldoni's film by credit removed from posters, as well as Lively getting more time in the editing room with her personal editor to oversee the final cut of the Colleen Hoover adaptation. Baldoni's filing reads, this maneuver felt less like a professional request and more like extortion, holding the film's marketing efforts hostage to gain creative control. This is not the first time Baldoni mentioned Swift in his lawsuit against Lively. In his initial complaint, filed on January 16th, the Jane the Virgin alum said he felt pressured into allowing Lively to rewrite It Ends With Us' iconic rooftop scene after her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and their, quote, mega celebrity friend joined in a production meeting. Baldoni wrote in an alleged text to Lively, which is included in his lawsuit, was working on rooftop scene today. I really love what you did, and I would have felt that way without Ryan and Taylor. Ultimately, Lively's version of It Ends With Us was released in theaters, according to Baldoni. He alleges that he was largely cut out of the film's marketing due to Lively's strong-arm tactics, including being kept in a theater basement away from the rest of the cast during the movie's red carpet premiere. Baldoni is countersuing Lively and Reynolds in response to sexual harassment allegations made by the Gossip Girl actress. In a lawsuit filed in late December, Lively accused Baldoni of creating a hostile work environment and launching a smear campaign against her when she spoke out. In his countersuit, Baldoni denied the sexual harassment allegations and accused Lively and her husband of using their star power to collude with the press and defame him.
You were going to take that as well. And then you stood there, right there on the red carpet, you cannot deny it, and said, Ryan, he was the one that wrote the scene on the rooftop. No wonder it was bad. I'm just saying. I live for this. Bring it forward so that we can see everything. And they were running scared. Why? Because they legit thought that they could push Justin to the wall, that they could remove him from his agency. Justin, don't go back to Endeavour, to William Morris Endeavour. It goes to show how spineless they are. They cut you off without even letting you hear anything. This was the way that he had to fight. Remember, in a couple of episodes you will see, I put David and Goliath, because Blake and her friends and her husband was Goliath. Well, she did say, I am Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones and I have my dragons. Well, guess what? We're going to get insecticide and we're going to one by one. You got to give maximum respect to Justin. He was fighting for his life. I just wonder, now that I think about it, how many people they did this to and they got away with it. They're not going to get away with it now. There's an old African proverb, every day for the thief, one day for the owner. And you see, this our you see, I tell you, and I don't want to impose religion on anybody, but for those of us that are Christians, our Father up above is the greatest architect of all. That is why when something doesn't work out for me, I simply let it go, or I say to myself, what did I miss? I never take it personal, because our Father up above, he will organize, he will reconstruct, he will do the most impossible that you couldn't fathom. He will bring it all for your eyes to see, and it will be so magnanimous, so fabulous, it will render you speechless. Blake never knew, and by the way, she did not even sign her contract. She did not sign her contract for the film. She was dilly-dallying back and forth. They never thought that this was going to turn out the way that it did. And you see, this has become a tarantula. It has so many legs in so many pies that Hollywood will literally go up in flames, because there's a guilty party in every pot, in every pie. That is why I want this case to come forward. They're all in oblivion. They live in a land where nobody else lives, and they're so arrogant and they're so devious. They have no soul. They have no conscience, that they just railroad and they go on and they don't think about anybody else. But like I said, the David stood up to the Goliath and he just hit one out of the park right in between the eyes, and that was the website. The website was telling, because even I broke down and I said, oh my God, I did not see this coming. Taylor Swift, subpoena sis, let her come to court. It is the Him Too movement. That's the way I look at it. I've got a son. And when I think about this, I say to myself, who would have stood up for this guy if he didn't have receipts? You got to have receipts in this day and age, and that is what Baldoni had. Justin had the receipts of the wazoo. They were so egotistical, they were so arrogant that they thought that he had no brain, that he had no sense. But how can that be when he was the one who went to Colin Hoover side eye on YouTube, and went on to say, you know what, I love this book, I'm going to bring it alive, I am going to turn this into a film. You bring Blake Lively, who saw the opportunity and took it. You have her husband, who is on Deadpool, and he is making references about Justin in his film, and that was after the strike. And he wanted Justin, which I read in the other case, he imposed that I want you to release this statement where we have no parts, where you will take all of the blame. And I'm so happy that everything is out. The deepest wound that you have received is in the website. You cannot play victim. Because you see, there's cause and there's effect. If you come to me and you take away my career, you slander my name from pillar to post, I become a pariah. And then it affects directly my husband, Father Jesus up above, my son. You will not even recognize the person that will come out in the dark and fight you. You will not recognize me. I promise you. You will not recognize the beast that you have erupted within. And that is what you did to Justin. You want to claim that he's killing an ant with a sledgehammer. No. He's letting you know the ramifications. And you know what? I also believe that Justin played dumb, because he wanted to see how far this was going to go. I really and truly believe that. So this is the first, my darling. I will be on top of it for you. I am living and loving the Him Too movement. Continue to hashtag it down there. We are going to go live and do a whole bunch of deep dives, baby. Yes. And I will see you what? I will see you sooner than later. All of my love, my darlings. Do not forget to like, to subscribe. Subscribe, baby. Let's get to the 1 million. And I will see you what? I'll see you sooner than later. All of my love. Why am I loving this?